Hey everybody, Jason here with the Landlord Launch. Today we're going to talk about a post that was in one of our landlord groups, and it went something like this. It was a landlord who got an application, and the applicant stated that they had an ESA animal, and this person was confused and concerned because their condo association, the condo association for the home that he was renting out, does not allow pets. So I thought it'd be a good topic to talk about because there's a lot of confusion around ESAs, what you can and can't do. So first off, let's just, for those of you that don't know what an ESA is, an emotional support animal, it is an animal that is prescribed to a person to help them work through or work with or live with some sort of condition to provide comfort. It is different than a service dog or a service animal. The service dogs, animals, they are trained for specific tasks that help people with a handicap or an impairment accomplish specific things, like a seeing eye dog would be the most classic example of that. An ESA animal is different. They're not a highly trained animal. Well, usually not a highly trained animal. They are there for emotional support, and they have to be prescribed in order to fall under the ESA rules of the Fair Housing Act. So basically what this looks like is that when somebody says they have an emotional support animal, what you should do is that is considered a reasonable accommodation request. And what you should do is you should get that in writing. Matter of fact, I have a reasonable accommodation request form that I will link to this video somewhere, that if you want to take a look at it, download it, have it on record just in case, you can have a copy of that. But there's a reasonable accommodation request, so you want to get that in writing. And then from there, what you're going to want to do is there's some things that you can ask for. You can't get into a whole bunch of information, but one of the things you can ask for is a letter from a medical professional, mental health professional, somebody that's familiar with and has treated this person, to write a letter prescribing, saying that this person needs an emotional support animal. If you gather that, you have to make a consideration. You have to consider making a change to your rules, which may mean where no pets are allowed, you have to accept an animal because, you know, that's a reasonable accommodation to the rule. Sometimes it's on restrictions or weight restrictions or type of animal, things along those lines. Again, we're not going to get too much into details of the ins and outs of all this, so I'm just kind of throwing some stuff out there. But the point is, you have to make an exception to the rules. Now, the thing is that homeowner associations, condos, insurance companies, property management companies, real estate agents, anyone that deals with the housing industry is subject to the Fair Housing Act. So the condo has no choice. It doesn't matter if it has a no pet rule. They are subject to the same provisions of the FHA as we are as landlords. So if somebody submits a fair housing or a reasonable accommodation request for an ESA, and we gather all the appropriate documentation for that, and everything's vetted appropriately, then the condo has no choice. And if they try to come after you or anybody else for that, that could be a violation of the Fair Housing Act. You as a landlord could even file a complaint with HUD, and HUD will go on and take care of that pretty quickly. But usually not an issue. HOAs, property management companies, we all know what these things are about, so it's usually not that big of a deal. But that is kind of a little bit of a drawn out answer to this situation. So the condo doesn't have a say. If it is truly a vetted ESA, emotional support animal, then they have to accept it regardless of what the rules are. Okay, so that's what I got. Again, this isn't an in-depth, there's all kinds of exceptions, there's all kinds of, so I don't want somebody out there saying, yeah, but if it's a roommate and this, yeah, I know there's exceptions. That's not the point. The point is the condo has to follow the FHA like everybody else. It doesn't matter if they have a no pet rule, was the point I was kind of making. So if you do have any questions on that, I'm more than happy to talk more about this. Please just leave comments in the section below, and love to hear from you. So again, we'll wrap it up for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. This is Jason with the Landlord Launch.